from right to left, and a vest. We got three pieces. We got it all going on. Rich Eisen, Steve Marici, Kurt Warner, and, of course, right over there, Michael Irvin. Let's take a look at how Wild Card Saturday wrapped up. Tom Brady coming out. Yes, LFG and everything. Was that Bob Kraft's handwriting on that banner? It was Derrick Henry's night, and it's his world, and we were all rent-paying in it. What a night for him. The regular season rusher, leading rusher, just dominated over 200 yards from scrimmage. And the last play of the game, essentially last pass of Tom Brady's Gillette season, perhaps Gillette career. A Logan Ryan pick six. He missed one at the end of the first half. He did not miss the one at the end of the game to seal the deal for Mike Vrabel is the coach who comes in and one and done's potentially the last iteration of Brady Belichick in New England, and the Titans move on. Kurt, I give you the first thought on what we saw last night in Foxborough.
Well, I mean, I think there was a couple things that jumped out at me. And, of course, Derrick Henry and running the football against Bill Belichick and not being able to solve that issue. But I think more than that, it was about the Patriots late in this game. You know, that you felt like, okay, the Titans did a lot of good things, and they were there in the end, but they just left it open for Tom Brady and the Patriots to make that one final drive, which they always do in Foxborough, in the playoffs.
This was the one,
and they just didn't do it. And, and even that, because if it would have been N'Keal Harry or if that would have been Matt Lacoste or somebody that dropped it, you go, man, it's a microcosm of what's happened all year long. But our one guy, our go-to guy, our man, for him to miss that play in that moment really was a microcosm of everything that had happened all year long, that they just weren't able to overcome the lack of consistency that they had offensively. And yesterday was just another sign of that.
Yeah, and the Achilles heel that this team has had all year was the passing game, predominantly throwing the ball to receivers on the outside, and it showed up again. They didn't do it very well at all. But what surprised me was the number one ranked defense of the Patriots. The number one ranked defense. And Bill Belichick always has a good tackling defense. They're tough guys that can bring you down, tackle you in space. They've led the league in tackles percentage over and over again. But I knew it, you knew it, the fans knew it, the Patriots knew it. That guy right there, 22, was going to get the football time and time again, and they couldn't stop him. 34 carries, 182 yards in crunch time, and they couldn't stop him.
I mean, what about the 2-minute drive? I mean, you got a 2-minute drive at the end of the first half, and you're thinking, we got to throw the football to get it. They handed it off and walked down the field and put points on the board, and you're just like, that just does not happen, especially against a Bill Belichick defense and the number one defense in the league.
And I talked about it. You have to be physical to beat this team. But what stuck out to me was the chess match that goes on between Belichick and Vrabel. It really was. It was incredible to watch, even late in the game with the clock. You know, Belichick was hot about how he was handling the clock and running out the clock. But I loved even in the postgame listening to some of the players talk. And they asked, what about the banners? And the one guy said, yeah, I saw the banners. And the other goes, you weren't supposed to look at the banners. So you know Vrabel had already said to him, listen, don't let that get in your head. It was a chess match, and these guys, they were ready to play New England physically, but they were ready mentally to beat New England.
Was there any part of Bill Belichick as they were going through that whole punt sequence and all that time that inside is going, I taught him well. I taught him well. He's doing well. Yes. It's working against me. But, man, he's a little bit of pride in that.
So the Titans now move on. When we first came on the air, one of the great rivalries in the game was Titans-Ravens. They had just separated divisions. And Steve McNair was a co-MVP of the first season that we came on the air at the NFL Network. So seeing Titans-Ravens next week is an old-school kind of matchup, the contest. I mean, we could literally fill a 4-hour show with just the highlight of the last 5 minutes of regulation and all the decisions that were made and all the poor execution that we saw that did finally lead to a game-tying field goal for the Bills. Very rare for a team to be up 16-0 in a playoff game and then be lucky to have overtime forced. But that is the way Wild Card Weekend started. Now let's talk about how it's going to finish by going on location, presented by Lowe's. Going out to our reporter Whip Around with Mike Garafolo covering the Eagles. Mike?
Rich, huge news for the Eagles yesterday when tight end Zach Ertz was cleared. He will play today against the Seahawks. He went through a gamut of tests to make sure he was over that kidney issue that he suffered against the Cowboys a couple of weeks ago. Included a urine test to make sure there was no blood in there. He was cleared, so he will play today. Now to Omar Ruiz for more on the Seahawks.
Hi, Mike. After a 4-year absence, Marshawn Lynch is back in the postseason with 2 weeks of practice and a game now under his belt. I'm told don't expect to see the Seahawks use Marshawn in more plays than they did against the 49ers. Instead, in more ways, as Beast Mode has more comprehensive of the knowledge of this offense. Beastquake still causing some aftershocks, perhaps in New Orleans. For more now on the Saints, let's send it down to Steve White.
Well, thanks a lot, Omar. With all the playmakers the Saints have, do not overlook first-team All-Pro punt returner Deontay Harris, averaging 9.5 yards per punt return. He's got one for a touchdown. Also, 27 yards on kick return. Now, head coach Sean Payton said today, Harris's big playability is a great counter to the Vikings' great coverage teams. Remember, this is someone to look out for. Now, for more on the Vikings, let's send it to Tom Pelissero.
Steve, the Vikings intend to give Dalvin Cook a full workload today, and after a few weeks of rest, Cook told me, I'm ready to go against the Saints' 4th-ranked run defense. My legs, my mind, mentally and physically, I feel better, Cook said, adding that based on what he's seen on tape, I think we can pop some runs on him. Let's go outside to Kay Adams.
Top 10 rush defense. The Vikings boast number 4 run defense, the Saints versus that top-ranked offense. So let's get the party started here in New Orleans. Vikings coming to town. Kirk Cousins looking for his very first playoff win. Steve Smith, Maurice Jones-Drew joining me. Drew Brees wants his 9th playoff win, and he wants it right here.
Yeah, well, you know, for me, the Vikings, if we're talking about the Vikings and we heard Tom Pelissero talk about Dalvin Cook, it all starts and ends with him. He has to be able to rush for 150 yards. He has to have those big plays. They have to get that running game going, because once he gets going, all of a sudden, Steve, you know it, the receivers are seeing one-on-one coverage. There's no 2 safeties back that you don't have. Your quarterback doesn't have to read these crazy coverages. He can just play faster. So if Dalvin Cook can get going, then you expect Kirk Cousins to play faster. Stephon Diggs have big days. Adam Thielen. You need runs like this here that we're seeing against the Packers. This nice 75-yarder that he took off and took to the house. If he can do that, the game is his.
We haven't seen him since December 15th. Maybe there's some rust to deal with, but also this is a defense that has not allowed a 100-yard rusher since 2017, since Samaje Perine did it. So I don't know that he'll have that success here in this loud atmosphere.
Well, this loud atmosphere will do 2 things. It will make a team either ascend or descend. But when we talk about both of these teams, one of the big concerns I have is both of these teams in the last couple of weeks have shown that they can strike fast and quickly. However, they're both built on play action. Whoever can run the ball more effectively and allow big explosive plays and explosive runs. Both of these teams are built on the play action and the play design. How are these defenses going to handle the different looks that they will receive? Will they make adjustments, and will they make adjustments quickly, or will it take them a quarter or 2 to make all those adjustments? And that is the big key thing that you have to see that we saw last night by both of those teams that won and lost last night.
There's so much to break down on this game. How does one stop Michael Thomas? Will Xavier Rhodes show up? Will it be good Kirk Cousins or bad Kirk Cousins? So much more here from New Orleans, where we're getting the party started, but we'll send it back to Rich.
Well, speaking of parties already started in Philadelphia, Kay, your colleague from Good Morning Football, Kyle Brandt, this week did a great Wolf of Broad Street video that wound up in my timeline 15 different ways. He said Doug Peterson needed to unleash his inner Wolf of Broad Street to motivate the Eagles before today's game.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving! Yeah! The show goes on! The playoffs are my home! They're gonna need a wrecking ball to take me out of here! They can send in the Seahawks, the Saints, Shanahan, the freaking National Guard, because we ain't going nowhere!
Oh, baby. Oh, well, you're going to have to bring that outdoor voice, obviously, to where he is right now. Right now with our Colleen Wolf. Take it away at the New Wave Cafe that's already filled with patrons this early in the morning in Philly. Take it away.
Come on, Colleen, do it with me.
Yes,
here we are. We know this idea that here in Philly that the Eagles don't have it. It's fugazi, it's fugazi, it's awazi, it's fairy dust. It doesn't exist. And as I turn here in Philly to my favorite wolf of Philadelphia, Colleen. We know we did the dogs, Colleen. We did them a couple years ago.
Yeah,
we got a Super Bowl. This team is hungrier. They're savvier. They're survivors. They're not dogs, ladies and gentlemen. They are wolves, and Doug Peterson is the wolf of Broad Street. Let's go!
Kyle, you're exactly right. That piece, it really spoke to me as a wolf
Yeah.
and also abroad, too. I thought you did a fantastic job. But, guys, first of all, I want to welcome you and everybody watching to my former living room here at New Wave with some of the best people in the entire world here. And, look, I spent probably way too much time
A lot of time here.
You could throw a stone to where I used to live. And
There it is.
It's to the point where, Cope, can I have this bag here?
What do you got?
In this bag here is just a bunch of keys from everybody in the neighborhood, because this is where you would bring your spare key in case you got locked out. So we got the entire neighborhood here. We got 2 bags filled.
Those are house keys, the people that around here?
Those
would be my keys to victory back in the day.
There's a car key in here, too. So, listen, we're going to have some former Eagles stopping by.
Yes.
Some Eagles cheerleaders. Swoop, I feel like I'm hosting Philly prom right now. We got a family table over there. My parents are here,
Yes.
my friends.
And someone's crashing the prom over your right shoulder there, Colleen. A couple of people like, you are the prom queen, but we got wolves. These people are, oh my gosh.
I love it.
Rabies
This is my
shots.
kind of place. We have much more game day morning still ahead.